Hi, Chris from Dynojet. Today we're going to install a power commander on this 2009 Honda Goldwing. This installation is going to be about the same for the 2006 all the way up to the 2010 models. We'll go ahead and get started by removing these two panels on the left-hand side of the bike. And we'll remove the same two panels on the right-hand side of the bike. We're going to remove both of these grips on both sides of the seat. After removing the grips, we can pull the seat off. Next, we'll go ahead and pop these out of place. Next, we're going to pop this panel that houses the speaker grills at the front. After we pop it out of place, we can unplug the tweeters on both sides, and we'll unplug the electrical connector for the trip odometer right here behind the key switch, and then we can lift it out of place. We'll want to open up this compartment here on the right hand side. We'll remove the two screws and the push pins at the corners. We'll lift the compartment out of the bike and disconnect the cable. And then we'll remove the small panel right below it. Next, we'll remove the same compartment on the left hand side of the bike. We'll also want to remove the panel below the compartment. We'll next want to remove this whole entire front panel. We're going to remove all of the bolts along the sides of it and across the top. We'll need to disconnect the cable for our vent here. We'll need to remove two screws up here by the key switch, and we have two nuts here in the back that need to come off. Once those are removed, we can pop it out of place and unplug the electrical connector for the stereo. Now that we have the stereo unplugged, we can lift it out of place. It does make it a lot easier to route the harness if we remove this air scoop on the left-hand side. After removing all of the bolts and the push pins, we're going to go ahead and remove the front cowl. We'll need to remove the upper and the lower. And that'll give us access to our left fuel injector bank connector. Now that we have all the necessary bodywork removed, we can start to install our power commander modules. This is a 6 injector bike, so we're going to supply with the power commander a secondary fuel module. We're going to use the power commander to control the left side injector bank and the secondary fuel module to control the injector bank on the right hand side. The two modules are going to sit right up here on top of the air scoops after the installation. First, we'll need to link the two together. We're going to use the supplied CAN link cable. We're going to plug one end into the power commander. We're going to plug the other end of the CAN link cable into the secondary fuel module. And we'll need to install our CAN termination plug into the secondary fuel module. Now that the two modules are linked together, we're going to store the two modules on top of the air scoops. Again, the power commander on the left side, the secondary module on the right hand side. We're going to leave them loose for now while we plug in our harness. Over here on the left-hand side of the bike, our connector for our left injector bank is going to be up towards the front of the bike at the cowl. We're going to take the two black connectors from the power commander. We're going to pass that onto the front. We'll push that right down through there. Here at the front of the bike, we can pull our harness all the way back down through. We'll find our connector for the left injector bank just inside the frame here on the left hand side, and it is a black 10-pin connector. We're going to unplug the stock connector for the bank. We're going to plug the male and female power commander connectors in line with that stock connector, and this will be our preferred bolt to secure the ground wire. Now that I have the power commander plugged in line with the left injector bank, I've reinstalled the left side air scoop, and I need to connect the power commander's crank input wires and its throttle position sensor wires to three of the wires here on the ECM. On the black ECM connector, you're going to pull out a solid yellow wire, a white wire with a yellow tracer, and a light green wire. You'll use the gray slotted nut on your posi tap You'll slide that over those 3 wires, and you'll slide the pointed end of the posi tap on top of the gray nut. So I'll do that for all 3. That's the light green, the white with yellow tracer, and the solid yellow wire on the black ECM connector. The Power Commander's gray wire is going to attach to the light green wire of the ECU. The brown wire with the white tracer is going to attach to the white wire with the yellow tracer of the stock ECU. And third, we're going to attach the white wire with the brown tracer from the Power Commander to the solid yellow wire on the bike's ECU. Now that the Power Commander's harness is installed entirely, the only thing that's left to do is to install the secondary fuel module harness to the bike. If we look at this wire bundle here on the right hand side, we can find the connector for the bike's right side injector bank. On this model, it is a black 4-pin connector. This is for the 2009 to 2011, you're going to see a black 4-pin connector. If this were a 2006 to 2008 model, you would actually see a gray 4-pin connector, and your secondary fuel module will match up to that. We're going to unplug the stock right side fuel injector bank, and we're going to plug the secondary fuel module in line with those stock connectors. Then over here, we're going to take the ground wire of the secondary fuel module, and we're going to attach that to this bolt right here at the top of the engine. Secondary fuel module, my Power Commander, are routed and plugged in. I want to secure the 2 modules on top of the air scoops. I'm going to clean the top of the air scoops with the supplied alcohol swab to get all the dirt off of them. And then I'm going to use the supplied 3M dual lock Velcro strips to secure the modules on top of the air scoops. Now, since these modules are going to be pretty inaccessible once all the bodywork is reinstalled, it's probably not a bad idea to go ahead and plug your USB cables in and route the other end of the USBs into the compartments on both sides. That way you'll have easy access to them later. Now that everything's installed, we can go ahead and reassemble the bike.